inspect the home, have professional home inspections done, have general contractors through, and they are protected through contingencies on the purchase agreement, which give them the opportunity to back out of the agreement or ask for repairs to be made to the house, subject to that contingency on the contract. And if they find during that inspection period that the property has something that needs to be taken care of, they have the opportunity to ask the seller to fix it, or they also have the opportunity to walk away and get their entire earnest deposit back with zero ramification or risk. And so I think that is something that a lot of people are not aware of, and so hopefully that helps people to understand their protection a little bit better.
So the only cost to them prior to purchasing the home would be for the inspection.
Correct. So any inspections that they have done would be an expense, but the earnest deposit would be refunded should they choose to cancel that agreement.
Now, let's say something was found out about the property during the inspection. The potential buyer says, no, I don't want to buy it. They back out of the deal. So the house is still on the market for sale. That which they found out during the inspection, is that seller obligated to disclose that to the next potential buyer?
They are actually the way that it works. Everything that a seller or an agent is aware of about a property should be disclosed, and so that becomes the inspection reports and anything that is found out about the property during that time period. It really is something that the seller should disclose to the next buyer. And if the next buyer were to find out that a seller didn't disclose that information, that could result in perhaps some litigation, or it's definitely in their best interest to disclose, because with that disclosure, you can disclaim that and you are no longer responsible for that. However, if you don't disclose that, then you're responsible, and if somebody suffers a loss as a result of that, you could be held liable.
All right, excellent. Let's talk about the marketing behind your website.
Okay.
Dial.
Sure.
Dominic. Tell me, how did you come up with that? Because, and I'm going to say this part here. See, most people will pick a URL that absolutely means nothing, that would not be found if they had a flashlight during broad daylight. So tell me, how'd you come up with this?
So it was actually the first year that I entered real estate, and I was ordering sign writers for my signs on my listings. Mm-hmm. And a friend of mine named Lee was a gal that had entered real estate as a second career, and her name was Sarah Lee. Actually, she goes by Lee for short, and her slogan was "Nobody does it like Sarah Lee." And so she had sign writers, and I said, I want something catchy. I gotta have something for my signs. So we liked the alliteration of Dial Dominic, and it stuck. And so I really liked the way that it rolled off the tongue, and it calls people to action. So that's obviously a great feature.
Yes.
And then in working with Joanna, who is the agent I told you about, the #1 realtor in town, I had mostly been marketing and including my last name on many of the materials that I had been distributing. And one of the things that she told me was to make yourself into a rock star. And she had gotten to be #1 through a lot of hard work, and she was very smart. She had a theme song where people would see her theme song at the movie theater, and it had these little dancing palm trees, and her slogan was "Joanna did it again." And like me, she was Italian, or is Italian, and she had a really hard to pronounce last name, and she said, "I made myself into Madonna. I ditched the last name, and I made it easy for people." So that's also a part of why I go by Dial Dominic, because it's really easy for people to pronounce, and they can find me much easier. So it was pretty cool.
Go ahead and pronounce your last name, the phonetic.
Sure, it's Labriola. It's actually a lot easier than it looks.
Yeah.
But it definitely it puts a stump on a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, man. Listen, I see that you're also a host of a podcast called
I am.
The Real Shift Radio. You want to talk about that?
Absolutely, I would love to. So, Real Shift Radio is a podcast that I host that brings the most inspiring people from real estate related industries, and it shows the ways to live your best life, and it shares their hints and tips for living a life that you're fulfilled by. And I've gone through a lot over the last few years with Dad's cancer, my foreclosure, a ballooning of my weight that left me very, very unhappy and in a deep depression. Then a total shift in the way of thinking, an ownership of me bringing myself to a level of accountability and taking care of my body and what I put into it, and doing a daily practice that includes meditation, nutrition, hydration, exercise, really taking care of my mind, my body, and my spirit. And it has changed my life. And there are some amazing people that truly inspire me, that have been mentors to me through this transformational shift. And I want to share their message with more people, because one of the things that I have learned about myself over the last couple of years is that I have inspired a lot of people to make shifts in their lives. And I want to bring further inspiration in a way that I couldn't do just on a one-on-one basis like I've been doing. And if I can share the message of the people who have inspired me to make my life better with people on a large-scale audience, I think that is the purpose of why I'm here. I really do feel like I am here to impact people and change their life for the better, and help people to live their best life. And that is the point of doing my podcast, Real Shift Radio.
I'm really happy to hear that. When you have such a powerful message, I always look at, like, how do you get such a message out to people more than one at a time? And when you said that, just that one-on-one, sometimes it's cool because you're hoping that one person gets it. But when you can do it in a huge, massive way, you might be able to affect quite a bit more people doing that. So the mindset, tell me about the mindset that you had going into this podcast, because you use the social media stuff already.
And Instagram is probably my favorite social media network.
Okay.
I really do love the interaction. I love images, and so it's fun for me to engage and interact on that medium. And I think that I've also seen so many of my really good friends experience some really great success with marketing their message on that platform and drawing people to the other platforms like YouTube and podcasts. And so it's a pretty great way to connect with people and to share the message.
So do you have anything in the works in terms of any course material for your podcast? Because once you hear all these great authors and everything, sometimes people need that extra step to connect everything together.
that is definitely in the works. I really feel like realtors on the whole are not great planners for themselves. And I think that some of the knowledge that I've gotten from some of my incredible mentors about how to plan for downshifts in the market and how to take care of yourself and your family are pieces that I would really like to teach in a course. And so I really do feel like a course centered around real estate is a product that I would like to bring to people, because I think that it will help them to really be prepared, because real estate is such a cyclical market. I mean, things are good and things get bad, and that is just part of the way there are ebbs and flows. And so I want to help people to be prepared so that people can stay in the business and weather the storm when the market gets bad again.
Absolutely. And so you do that through your mind, body, health, finances, spirit,
Yeah.
all that. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
That's a great message. Well, tell me this. Is there anything else you want to share before we jump off the line here?
Well, I would love to have people tune into the podcast. I'm launching in November. It will be available on iTunes, and it'll also be available through my website, dialdominic.com or realshiftradio.com. And the podcast is going to be able to be streamed through SoundCloud, and it is bringing some of the most incredible people. So I would really love to share their message with you. And if it's something that that you resonate with, I'd love to have people go ahead and subscribe and tune into the future episodes also.
Excellent, excellent. Well, I do appreciate you coming on my wonderful podcast.
I appreciate you, and I want to acknowledge you for creating good things, and I am so thankful for the assistance that you've given me with my website too. I think that you are a very talented man, so thank you.
You're very, very welcome, sir. So with that, I'll be talking to you real soon.
Awesome. Thanks,
All right.
Ralph.
You bet.
Talk to you soon.
All right, Dominic. Bye-bye.